Hello beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night whenever you are watching this. For today's reading, we are going to be taking a look at what you are doing right, what you are doing correctly, and get some encouragement from spirit. To do this reading, we have 4 piles. I'm going to add the crystals and I'll be right back. And here I've added the crystals. For pile 1, we have this tiger's eye point or tower, and for pile 2 we have this rose quartz tower. For pile 3 we have this angel aura quartz tower, and for pile 4 we have this fluorite tower. Pick whichever pile number and or crystal is calling you most, and that is going to be your reading. If you want to skip into the reading, you can go ahead. Timestamps will be listed down below, but for those of you who want to connect with me, I've been really loving connecting with you guys through the comment section, reading how you came to tarot, how you got introduced, or how you started engaging with tarot. It's been really nice because obviously when I do these readings, it's like kind of impersonal, so I really enjoy being able to connect with you guys through the comment section. I do have another question. When you're feeling down, or maybe you're having like a period of time of doubt, like not feeling the best, what are some things that help pick you up, or what are some things that help boost your energy or help you feel better? For me, like depending on the situation, it's baking or having a really nice, like making a really nice cup of coffee. That's like the quickest way, but if it's something bigger, I think it's just sitting with it and allowing myself to work through the emotions and just connecting with nature, like going and taking a walk in nature, just spending some time near the water, for me always helps clear my like the heaviness. So even if the problem doesn't go away or it's not solved, it just helps me get to a place where I can find a solution and deal with it. All right, so for those of you that were interested in that, let me know in the comment section what that looks like for you. Now let's get into the reading. Hello pile 1, how are you doing? You've chosen this tiger's eye crystal, and I'm going to keep the crystal right here. And I really have been enjoying connecting with you in the comments section, hearing how your tarot journey has looked like. So I was curious, when you're having a bad day, or if like you're going through a period of like maybe feeling a bit down, what are some things that you do to help you feel uplifted or motivated again, or get you out of that like down feeling? If you want to hear my answers, you can see the intro. I'll timestamp it. So now let's get into your reading. The first things that I got, well, we have your oracle cards here, but I was getting a few things intuitively, and also I just saw 111, so that might be a confirmation for some of you. And your pile 1, that's wow. Okay, so I had a few things come through. I felt like at the moment you're choosing between a few different options, or something like that, like take what applies, and you're making the best possible decision for yourself in this moment. So maybe neither one is like clearly better than the other, but I think whatever decision you're making is the best possible decision for your current situation. And I was also hearing there's no clear right or wrong. It's more about what do you want to experience. So yeah, just take those messages as they apply for you. Now let's get into your oracles. We have take note with number 22. A lot of angel numbers. I wonder if you've been noticing a lot of angel numbers around you. We have, wow, this glamour card. So you know what's interesting about this? The reason I ended up choosing this deck for this reading is because when I was looking at my decks and seeing which one I wanted to use for this reading, this card came into my mind very clearly. So that's really interesting. Anyways, we have last quarter moon in Sagittarius. Practice gratitude. I'm going to have to figure out how to place these. And then we have oyster. I'm wondering if you're getting visions or if you're getting like insight and you're trusting that. You're trusting that vision, or you're maybe even dreams for some of you, but like I'm really feeling like you might be getting a vision of something, or like something pops into your mind and then that thing happens, or you see that thing later on. I feel like that's all confirmation for you that you're making the right decisions, or you're walking down the right path, or you're walking towards the right thing. Because again, I was feeling like there might not be a clear right or wrong in some cases for some of you. Like this again seems like you have some options in front of you. This might not apply to every single situation for every single one of you, but it's like trusting the visions that you get, trusting the things that come to you is what you're doing right. So let's just get your tarot. Spirit, what is pile 1 doing right? What is pile 1 doing right? Wow. We have the Fool here. Interesting. I wonder if some of you might be called to pile 4, because pile 4, that specific deck, keeps getting the Fool card, and there's like a whole thing. Like I wrote so many notes when I was shuffling and preparing this reading for pile 4, because they just kept getting the Fool. Like that deck for some reason, the Fool has been following it around, and because I'm seeing this here, it's reminding me of that. So I wonder if some of you might have been called to that. Obviously, I have no idea what is going to come out there, because I haven't done that yet. But if you are, maybe check it out. So yeah, let's get Spirit. What is pile 1 doing right? What are they doing? Thank you. Okay, we have the 7 of Swords, the Chariot, and the 5 of Wands. So pile 1, I'm getting a few different things. Firstly, I'm hearing this message that if you felt called to work with Tiger's Eye, or you've been working with Tiger's Eye, then that is something that you're doing right, or that is the right move for you, because I feel like you have that calling for a reason, and it's really going to help you as you move along in your path or in your journey. It's going to help you to make clear decisions or get clear on what you want. Somehow it's really going to help you. It could help you in many ways, but I feel like Tiger's Eye is really going to help you only for those of you who have been feeling called to work with it, or maybe some of you, even if you haven't had that calling and you have Tiger's Eye, maybe you could work with it. But specifically, this message is coming through for those of you who have been feeling called to work with it, or Tiger's Eye, that crystal has been coming up a lot for you. Then there is this message here from Spirit to like go ahead and start working with it. And yeah, I feel like that's really going to be beneficial for you. But the other thing that I'm noticing here with Glamour is that some of you may have been feeling called to change up your wardrobe, or change your style, or maybe even beyond that, like doing mirror work and looking in the mirror, and instead of seeing your flaws, starting to see your good qualities, and starting to give yourself like healthy amounts of love and affirmations that boost yourself when you look in the mirror. So all of those things are coming through here too. And if this is something you haven't yet done, then Spirit is encouraging you to try that, because even if it feels a little awkward in the beginning, I'm hearing that it's going to be really helpful for you to break out of like the way you currently see yourself, and gain a more clear perspective, or gain more clarity on like your true nature and your true essence. I'm also hearing, for those of you who have been moving in silence, that is what you are doing correctly. Moving in silence right now, not really giving away too much of what you're doing, making moves behind the scenes, not really telling people exactly what you're working on or exactly what you're doing. I feel like Spirit is like encouraging you to continue doing that, because that is what you need to do at this moment. You, even with this oyster here, like the shell is closed and there's like so much magic happening underneath the shell, but nobody can really see that. So I feel like right now what you're doing correctly is keeping what you're doing, all the work you're doing, whether that's the inner work you're doing, the moves you're making in your career, whatever it is for you personally. Even in your relationships, like maybe keeping your relationship status private, or keeping things a little bit like, because the Seven of Swords is usually about like secrecy or moving in silence, and everything here is kind of giving me the feeling that if you have been moving in silence and you're not really telling people about the moves that you're making, that's exactly what you're meant to be doing. So don't doubt yourself. Don't feel like you need to overshare, because actually something that's really going to help you is that you've kept things private, is that you've kept things under wrap, and you've allowed, or you're allowing like the transformation and the magic to take place beyond other people's eyes. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is that for those of you who have been working on moving past any past betrayals or any past like betrayals of trust or hurts and pains of the past, I feel like that's what you're doing right as well, is moving beyond that. Even just taking the first step to recognize that, or bring awareness to that situation, and whatever that first step looks like for you, taking that first step is what you're doing right. Moving beyond that and no longer internalizing past betrayals and hurts and taking it personally. I feel like all of those things are really helping you, and Spirit is saying that you're on the right path with that. I feel like for many of you, your focus is on your inner world and improving your inner world, improving your life, making the changes that you need for yourself. Also, I just saw 222, so and we have 22 here with take note, and I did see 111. So again, angel numbers, and you might be receiving a lot of synchronistic numbers, or a lot of not sequential, but you may be seeing a lot of repeating numbers. And I think that that's to give you that encouragement that you are making the right choices, that you are on the right path. What I'm seeing here is that you're actually doing a whole lot better than you might realize right now, because you might be going through some situations that feel a little bit tricky to manage. I really do feel that you're going through a situation that's either like difficult to navigate, or there's a lot of moving pieces, or there's just a lot on your plate, or it's been a difficult situation to manage. That's kind of what's coming through as I tapped in anyways, but I'm starting to feel that more and more, that it's like there's no clear right or wrong way to go, or at least there's a lot of blurred lines, and you're doing your best. And even if it might feel at times like you're not making the right decisions, or maybe you don't have exact clarity that you would like, I feel like you're navigating this situation to the best of your abilities, and you are doing a good job at that. And I do feel like you're doing your best to protect your energy, because we do have this oyster here, we have this Seven of Swords here, even kind of with this Five of Wands placement, it's like giving me this feeling that you're really learning how to trust yourself in order to protect your energies. You're not giving everything away, you're not being super open and expressive. And while normally I would say that, you know, it is good to trust people, and it's good, obviously it is still good to trust certain people if they've proven themselves, but anyways, that in relationships it does help to have that level of trust and be able to be open. But in your case, I'm feeling like you protecting your peace and protecting whatever it is that you're working on, your ideas, your inner work, and just protecting your inner world, I think is actually something you're doing really correct, like something that is right for you at the moment. like you need to protect your inner world, and you're doing that. So keeping yourself, and I don't mean closed off in the sense of like isolation, but I feel like in this case it's like not really diving too much deeper into the details of whatever it is that you're working on, or on your personal journey with others is benefiting you. And that doesn't mean, again, that you can't share or that you aren't sharing, but I just feel like something that you're doing right is keeping things to yourself, keeping things close to your chest at the moment, being a bit more private and discerning, because maybe this period of time is to help you learn discernment, and that's something that you're working through. And focusing on the new things that you want to call into your life or on the road ahead of you, instead of on the past or on other people. And I also feel like because you may be in a situation where there's no clear right or wrong, or there's like a lot of blurred lines of a little bit of confusion, if you seek that outside help, it might create more confusion. So I think being able to go within and what you're doing, of seeking the answers from within and keeping things close to your chest, is actually helping you to gain the clarity and helping you to move along seamlessly. Like I said, I feel like you're doing better than you might think. You're navigating this situation better than you think you are. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're not really allowing other people to distort your own vision, or at least you're gaining more clarity through inner reflection and going within rather than seeking it externally. And I think that's really helping you to make significant moves externally, because we have this Chariot card here, and the Chariot is all about movement and going forward. So even if you might feel like things are moving slowly, or you feel a little bit trapped or closed off and in your own bubble, it's actually helping you to move quicker and faster and more like in alignment with your desires. And that way nobody's really challenging you. And obviously challenge can sometimes be a good thing, but in this case I feel like the challenge might work to distort your image. So it's like, for example, if you're diving into spirituality or tarot and you start telling people in your circle about that, and maybe it's like really just something you just started to work on, there might be some people there who have really strong opinions against it, and that could distort your own lens or make you feel like you shouldn't be exploring it. But maybe that's just their experience with it, and they're valid for having their experience with it. But if you came to walk through your own experience, you might find it is different from theirs. But if you listen to theirs and get swayed by their opinions and experiences, it might never lead you to the opening that is available to you. And for others of you, I'm feeling like this discernment and this being more private is coming from the place that you don't feel the need to over-explain anymore. You don't feel the need to give this long, lengthy explanation and let people in on every decision that you make. Like, I think you're building a lot of confidence in your ability to make decisions, and you're starting to trust yourself a lot more. And through that, you're no longer relying on people outside of you or their opinions and stuff to make decisions. I think you're making a decision and you're sticking with it. And again, you're not over explaining yourself. Like, this is really helping you to not feel the need to include everybody's opinion on your decision. I just generally feel like you're building a lot of self-trust, and you're building yourself up. Like, again, I keep wanting to go back to this oyster card here, because the oyster builds the pearl through tension, through like irritation. I'm pretty sure it's like some type of irritation or some type of like sand, I think it was, or something like that, the irritation then forms the pearl. You can correct me on this, but this is like what I remember from seeing a video on how the pearl is formed. But it's like that irritation then allows the oyster to form the pearl. So in your case, it's like working and moving through this irritation or whatever it is that you're working through this situation is helping you to grow this pearl internally, where you're solid, you trust yourself, you see yourself as capable. And I think it's helping you to move away from any distorted lenses through which you are seeing yourself and gain more clarity on who you actually are and the power that you actually hold in your life. And that is really helping you to move forward. Even if there's still some overthinking or some self-doubt or things like that, or any limiting beliefs, I feel like you are developing such a strong core that those things are not of such a huge impact. Like, they're not having such a huge impact anymore as they once did. And depending on like your situation, I feel like this is something that you're actively working towards right now. So regardless of where you're at or how much of your pearl has grown, I don't know why it's coming out like that, but regardless of that, you're walking through this journey of really developing that inner strength and that inner resilience, so other people can't sway you, situations outside can't sway you, and any limiting belief or any self-doubt and stuff like that, even if it comes up, which is pretty normal, as humans we have that, it doesn't impact you in the way that it may have impacted you in the past. And it no longer holds you back. It's just like something that you're able to see, bring awareness to, and move forward with. And I really do feel like with this Five of Wands here, it's like because of the discernment you're building, you no longer feel the need to either shy away from conflict or engage in conflict that has no like end result that is beneficial, you know? Like, if some people enjoy arguing for the sake of arguing, maybe in the past you gave in to that and now you're just like, whatever, dude, argue with yourself. Or it's like maybe in the past you shied away from that to keep the peace, and now you're just like, no, I'm not going to keep the peace. I'm going to say my piece, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. And so I think you're learning to, again, which depending on what side of that you fell on, either way, you're learning to use your discernment to help you when it comes to conflicts or challenges with others, to either not back down or to walk away when it's not worth it, when somebody's just looking for a rise out of you. And with this take note here, I feel like you're bringing a lot of awareness to your habits and patterns and things like that, and your inner world in general. And I feel like that's what's helping you with this Fool, like to feel lighter, because what this Fool is giving me is this feeling of lightness. So I feel like your observation of your inner world, your awareness there, and your focus and attention there is helping you to feel lighter and better. And so even the challenging things that may be existing in your life right now, and even if they feel difficult, I'm not saying that they don't, of course, but I think your inner world is becoming lighter and more free of baggage, so it's then helping you to have the strength and energy to deal with any external situations. Because like, if we've been carrying a bunch of inner baggage, then that also drains our energy, because our attention is being focused there along with the external thing. But in your case, I feel like you've been putting a lot of energy into your inner world and bringing awareness there, which is helping to lighten that load so you can then deal with the external situations. I feel like there's something else that's coming through here, but it's not like coming in. Maybe I have to sit with this for a bit. Okay, It literally just came. As I said, maybe I need to sit with this for a little bit. I sat for like 3 seconds and it came right away. It's this need to do more. I feel like you're moving away from this thing of like, oh, I need to do more. I need to be more. I need to be better. I need to like wear more of this to be more like this, or whatever the case may be. I feel like you're actually moving away from that, and the more you connect with your inner world and the more awareness you bring, you're moving away from feeling like you need to do more or be different than who you are or any of those types of things. I feel like you're moving away from that, and that is also partly really helping you to move forward, because now you can recognize like, actually, I don't need to do more than what I've already done. I've done enough, and I'm happy with how much effort I put in, and I'm gonna move on. Like, I don't need to, again, I guess that goes back to like, I don't need to over explain. I don't need to put in more effort where I've already put in a good amount. And there's this feeling of working to resolve inner conflict. And these are all the things that you're doing right. So even if you're not actively working on these things, whatever you're doing right now is helping you to work on these things, is allowing these things to be like healed or worked on or cleared up. So I'm feeling like for some of you, your focus might even be external, but there's a lot of internal shifts that are happening, even if you're not actively engaging in them. And those internal shifts are a result of the external actions you're taking. So take what applies to your situation. That might only be for some of you, like that was coming through for a very few of you. Let's see, Spirit, what last message would you like to give pile 1 before we close this reading? What last message would you like to give? That. We have Lotus. Stand still for now and listen to your life. Yeah, it's interesting because the lotus is a flower that you don't see the amount of like blooming and growth that happens, because it's happening below the surface. It's happening in the murky waters. It's happening in a situation that would otherwise be considered undesirable and not likely to produce such a beautiful flower. Yet when it comes to the surface and it does finally open up, it's extremely beautiful, but the whole time it was growing in this murky, disgusting, swampy water. So I do feel like that, like right now, you might feel like you're in a situation that's like unfavorable, and it probably might be like, but I feel like you're getting a lot from that situation that's helping you to transform on an inner level. So when you finally do step out into, I don't want to say like step out into the world, because that would kind of make it seem like you're not engaging in the world. That's not what I mean. But like when you finally open up, it's like you're opened up with this strength and this resilience and this beauty that was cultivated through all of the experiences that you had. I hope that's making sense. But yeah, what you're doing right is focusing on your inner world and not allowing the external circumstances to hold you back or stop you. And you're building a lot of resilience and strength and this beautiful pearl lotus. Like there's a lot of beauty that you're building through this situation. And maybe some of you are literally working on healing your diet and stuff like that, or healing your body so that you can feel more externally beautiful, whatever that means to you, or externally happier with how you look in the mirror. And the steps that you've been taking, the inner work that you've been doing is really helping you in that journey. So pile 1, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you, and thank you so much for being here. If you want to dive deeper, you can book personal tarot readings through my website. It's in the description box. If you like this reading, then like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'll catch you in another video or reading. Bye. Hello, pile 2. How are you doing? You've chosen this rose quartz tower, and I'm going to keep your crystal right here. Recently, I've really been enjoying connecting with you guys in the comment section. So if you feel called to it, I would love to know how you help yourself or how you uplift yourself in moments of feeling down, or what you do to help motivate yourself and just feel better. If you want to hear my answer, it's in the intro. So now let's get into your cards. I'm going to lay out your oracle cards first, and then I'll pull your tarot. It's interesting that you have the Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and you guys are pile 2. All right, let's see. We have the gift of neutrality, confidence. Right off the bat, that's interesting. I'm noticing 32, 34, so a lot of like 30 or 3 energy, and orange and red, like a lot of sacral chakra, solar plexus, like fiery, passionate energy here, which is so interesting because the next 2 cards you have are like the opposite of that. You have new moon in Cancer with relax, and snake with the earth element. So I wonder if you've been doing a really good job of balancing your fire and your passion with your emotions and being grounded and taking practical action. Or if you've maybe, that's interesting. By earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. I wonder if you've been working on your chakras or working with the different elements like within you. Maybe you've been working with your confidence and your passions and your fire, or with your life force energy, and working with your emotions or your intuition. And there's a feeling of like working with different elements and working with your chakras or the different energies within you. So let's pull your tarot cards. Spirit, what is, or like working with your inner magic, your gifts, your power, something like that just came through. What is pile 2 doing right? What is pile 2 doing right? I'm hearing working with your intuition, because I'm seeing the High Priestess. Working with your intuition, or something along those lines too. What is pile 2? We have the star here. What is pile 2 doing right? Whoa. One of the cards just flipped upside down in here, but we'll see if it comes out. Whoa. Okay, that's too many. All right, just one more, Spirit. What is pile 2 doing right? Wow, we have the 9 of Cups here. That's it. Wow. So at the bottom of the deck for pile 1, we had the 8 of Swords. And for you, we also have the 8 of Swords. And then the 8 of Pentacles. That is interesting. 88 could also be significant somehow. I know I just said a bunch of numbers. But double 8s could somehow be significant to you right now. The snake can sometimes remind me of that 8 energy of like infinite or infinity, just because like the snake constantly goes through a shedding process, and it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger through that shedding process. So I wonder if you've been going through a lot of releasing and shedding shedding. Even with this new moon here, you might be going through a lot of like releasing of old patterns and old beliefs, or just releasing things that are not in alignment with you anymore. You may have been going through a lot of shedding processes, and I feel like that's really helping you to bring this balance, because earlier I was saying like you have so much red and orange, and then you also have this like blue and green, so like you have a lot of fiery energy but also a lot of like cooler water and earth energy coming through. And then you have temperance here in the middle of this. So also interesting, now that I'm looking at this temperance card, there's a new moon behind her, and then also you have a new moon here. I wonder if you guys have been working with the moon or the moon phases, or specifically when is the next new moon? Actually, let me look that up. Okay, I looked it up. It's May 16th. So that date might be significant for some of you. So something that's coming through to me here is like when I was looking at this star and the fact that it's like I placed it right here on top of confidence, it was giving me this feeling of taking up space, of allowing yourself to be seen, of allowing your voice to be heard and putting yourself out there. But then I saw this new moon and the temperance card, and I was like thinking of like being in the shadows. And with the temperance, it was like it just clicked like that makes perfect sense. What you're doing right is allowing yourself to be seen, but also allowing yourself to have time where you're alone and in your own bubble, or where you're not putting yourself out there as much. I think you're learning to balance that. Like you don't always have to be available for other people. You don't always have to be out there and putting yourself like out there. I don't know, take what applies to your situation, but you don't always have to show up like that. You don't always have to be perfect in that sense. You are also allowed to have moments where you just want to be alone, where you just want to be in your own bubble, where maybe you don't feel like engaging with others, or maybe you don't feel like being seen and things like that. Like you're allowed to have both. And I feel like something you're doing right is honoring both parts of you, honoring the part of you that wants to be out there seen or be more extroverted and take up space, but also honoring the part of you that wants to retreat inward, wants to go into your own little bubble, doesn't want to be seen with others, or doesn't want to be seen or engage and talk to others, or like be social. Like I feel like honoring both aspects of that is what you're doing right. And this could even go beyond just that. Like, I feel like you're taking two different things, two things that normally seem contradictory, and you're learning to merge them. And that's what you're doing right. This balance that you're striking of being able to merge two completely different things. And it might even be, for some of you, a relationship where you're learning to like balance each other out in a way. And that might be a process that you guys have been working on for a while, whether that's like a partnership or a friendship, a family, like a home dynamic or something. It's going to be different for all of you, or just internally within yourself. I feel like you're learning to balance a few different things out to help allow for this flow. I'm also noticing on here, on this gift of neutrality card, it says balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposites in energy but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. So it really does feel like you're in this act of balancing things out. You're figuring out how best to create this balance. A little bit of this over here, a little bit of that over here. If I need time to myself, then I'm going to take it. If I need time to go and explore, then I'm going to take it. Like when I want to be social, I'm going to allow myself to be social. And when I don't want to be social, I'm going to allow myself to remain more quiet and internal. I feel like you're giving yourself both of those things. You're honoring both of those needs. Or again, this could apply to anything. That's just the example that keeps coming through. It's like balancing things out to help figure out what really works for you, what really helps you feel in this place of flow. And it's like about honoring you. I feel like you're really coming to this place of honoring the different aspects of you and honoring your desires and your wishes. So because we have this 8 of Swords at the bottom of the deck here, I feel like, and with the 8 of Pentacles underneath that, I feel like you've been working hard at something and maybe you haven't quite seen, maybe like, this might not even be that you haven't seen results. It may just feel still a little bit of a struggle. So, take this message only if it applies to you. But if you have been working hard at something and maybe it still seems like a struggle to like navigate that or to put in the effort or to see the results, I feel like this work that you're doing to balance things out and to create a little bit more balance and harmony in your life is going to help you in whatever you're working on, in seeing more alignment there and seeing more progress there. And so you feel a little bit more free, because with this 8 of Swords, it's giving me the feeling that you might feel a bit trapped at times and you might be feeling like you might struggle to maintain this balance, or you might just be struggling with the work that you're doing. And I'm also feeling like you may have been going through a period of shedding and growing and some cycles. And it may not have been fun. It may have felt very like trapping, the cycles that you may have been in. And you might be wondering like, I just want to free myself from these cycles. I no longer want to keep repeating this or having to keep going through this. Like I just want things to settle down for a while and just like go smoothly and enjoy. And I feel like what you're doing right is keeping your sight on that goal, on whatever goal that you have or whatever vision you're trying to achieve or whatever you're trying to manifest to, because we have this 9 of Cups here, and the 9 of Cups typically is a wish fulfillment card. So I feel like keeping that in mind, holding that vision is what you're doing right, because I think that right there is helping you to navigate your circumstance, to get out of it, to help you get out of this feeling of being trapped. It's giving you the insight and guidance you need. And you're working with a lot of different elements, I'm hearing. Like there's a lot of different things that you're working with, trying to piece together in order to make this happen, or in order for this path to clear up, in order for things to be more clear, because we do have a new moon, and typically with the new moon it doesn't have any light, right? It's not emitting any light, so you can't see anything. And I think for many of you it may be a bit dark, whatever it is that you're navigating. Not dark in a bad way, but dark in like a way of not really knowing what steps to take moving forward, and kind of having to just have blind faith and trust that the answers will come as you take that next step. And I feel like that's what you've been doing right, is having that faith in yourself, having that confidence in yourself, in your ability to take the next step. And even if you don't feel confident at times, and even if you doubt yourself at times, that's okay too. I think honoring that is what you're doing right. Honoring the fact that you might even have doubts that come up, but you have this vision and you trust in that vision, or you trust in yourself enough to know that the doubts aren't going to hold you back from that. It may pause you for some time, but it's not going to hold you back. I think just having that strong faith and walking towards that vision, holding that high, is really what you're doing right now. It's what's helping you. I also feel like you're getting better and better at knowing when to take action on your manifestations and when to take a step back and let them come to you. because again, I was seeing the High Priestess coming through, and the High Priestess is a card of manifestation through receiving, through stepping back and allowing for things to come in. And because we have so much here of like fire and orange and passion and like that usually represents going forward and taking action. But then we also have cards here that represent the water and earth elements of receiving, of leaning back, and it literally says relax here. So I feel like what you're doing right with temperance between those two is learning to like bridge between when you need to take action and when you don't, when you need to sit back and allow the universe to step in, and or like whatever other, maybe this is like in your family and you guys are trying to create like that balance there, whatever it applies to you. But I really feel like you're learning when action is necessary and when receiving is necessary, and how to like navigate those two things. And that's what you're doing right. Like, this isn't just something you're learning, it's something that you're doing right now actively. And overall, Pile 2, I really love your energy. I feel like you're coming into this space of emotionally aligning with yourself. Like, there's a lot of alignment here. Whatever the work you're doing is helping you to align with yourself. The moves that you're making, or sometimes the moves that you're not making, or all of it is helping you to remain in alignment with yourself. With this Nine of Cups, I also feel like you're taking time to pour into your cup before others, or at least you're not sacrificing your well-being for others at all, at all turns or whatever, at all points. I feel like you're taking the time to pour into your cup, knowing that it's important to fulfill your cup and feel good inside. And I feel like you're not feeling guilty about that as much anymore. And even if there are moments of that, I still think you're pouring into yourself exactly as you need to, or you're learning how to do that and you're prioritizing that. And that's all the things that you're doing right, like pouring into yourself, balancing things out, working on your mindset and your confidence, building up your confidence and trust and faith in yourself, and holding your vision, focusing on what you want to bring into your life. What vision do you have for your life? Focusing in on that, bringing that in. All of these things are the things that you're doing right. And even if, again, I said this in pile 1, but even if self-doubts come up, even if there's a feeling of being trapped or not 100% knowing what direction to move in, I feel like that's kind of important, because I think what Spirit is helping you to is helping you with right now is to learn to trust yourself even when external steps aren't there, or there's no like clear direction. Learning to trust in yourself to create that direction. I hope that's making sense. Like, I think what you're going through right now is to learn to have more faith in yourself than the external world. And I think that's exactly what you're doing correctly. Like, that's probably also why things are starting to align for you, and there's like movement happening, or there's this flow. And so I'm feeling like underneath it all, if you are going through a tough time, underneath it all, you're building this peace. It's like the peace is going to continue to grow, and eventually, like this new moon, it will grow to fullness where you'll see it externally. But right now, for some of you, you may not necessarily see it externally yet. And I know that can be frustrating to hear, but I do feel like what you're doing right is navigating that, is coming to build this trust and faith in yourself, is building confidence in yourself, is learning to navigate through your own internal wisdom, through your own internal, like your intuition, through your inner world. Pile 1 was similar. I wonder if you guys may have been connected in some way, but theirs was a little bit different. Though I just feel like what you're doing right is learning and building this sense of confidence in yourself. The external will catch up. It's just that in this moment, I think you're meant to be coming to trust in your inner world, and that might be why there's this feeling of having blind faith, because you might not know. It's kind of like when doing tarot readings for YouTube, you don't really know because you don't have somebody in front of you. You're not getting that instant feedback, but you kind of just have to learn how to have faith in yourself, in your guides, in the downloads that are coming in. You kind of just have to have faith because there's no external validation, obviously, until you post the video. But up until that point, when you're actually doing it, there's really no validation. So I kind of feel like that's what's coming through here. Is you just continue having that faith in yourself, because you're building a lot of confidence and building yourself up from the inside out. All right, now let's take your last few messages from Spirit. Spirit, what last message would you like to give? We have baby's breath. Everlasting success is assured if you remain honest and true. So keep going on your path, because you are reaching that success. You are reaching that goal, that star that you are looking at, and that vision that you're following. Especially because this has been such an internal journey, I feel like, for many of you. It may seem a bit difficult to keep going, but Spirit is encouraging you to continue with this, because you're doing things right. You are on the right path. You are making the right moves, even if sometimes it may not feel that way, and even if sometimes the external is not validating you. This whole journey, or the point of this, is to learn to validate yourself. And I feel like you are doing that with this 9 of Cups here. I do feel like you are learning and starting to validate yourself. So continue doing that. I feel like taking one more. Can I get one more message, Spirit, for pile 2 before we end this reading? We have Rose. You are divinely loved and protected with grace. It's interesting. I remember reading somewhere. Also, on a side note, at the bottom, I see this: gratitude and grace always look lovely on you. So maybe if you've been being really grateful, or if you've been focusing on being grateful and just expressing gratitude, I feel like that's really helping. But I also remember reading somewhere that rose had, like, the flower, the rose, has like one of the highest vibrations of any flower. So I think at this point, it's like, I know everybody wants to talk about like high vibe and this and that, and I don't mean it in terms of like being superior to others because you're high vibe. I don't mean it like that. But what I do mean is, like, I think you're raising your inner vibration. You're elevating your internal vibration, and you're coming to align with like higher vibrational frequencies. Again, I don't mean that to sound like superiority or anything like that, and I don't mean that to say whatever. I don't mean it like that, but I hope that makes sense. Like, you're raising your internal vibrations. You're coming out of like this slump, and you're also learning how to navigate difficulties without drowning in them. So, and even this snake card, like what's in the center of the snake, feels like those geometric patterns that they say, like when water, or when you play like high vibrational music or sounds to water, it forms these like geometric shapes. That's kind of what's coming through with this snake card. So and we are made up of so much water, right? And with this 9 of Cups here, it's like your inner water is starting to elevate. It's just, that is what's coming through. But really what it means is, like, internally, I feel like you're elevating, you're coming to this place of love and peace inside. So pile 2, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you, and thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to dive deeper, you can book personal tarot readings through my website. It's in the description box. If you like this reading, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'll catch you in another video or reading. Bye. Hello pile 3, how are you doing? You've chosen this rainbow aura quartz tower. I'm going to keep your crystal right here. If you feel called to, I would love to hear when you go through a difficult time, or maybe you are going through a period of feeling down, what helps you feel motivated again, or what helps you feel revitalized, and what uplifts you. You can let me know in the comment section below. If you want to hear my answer, you can check out the intro. So let's get into your reading. One of the first things that was coming through was that you're paying attention to the details, and that's what you're doing right, is paying attention to the details and releasing control. So take that as it resonates. Let's get into your cards. We have rediscover your zeal. I feel called to read this. Pay attention to the passion you are feeling for discovery, learning, exploration, spirituality, travel, your work, or your relationship. Passion and desire go together, especially as inspiration. We have health. Wow, you actually have the inspiration card, and this is literally talking about that. That's interesting. Then you have new moon in Libra, know you are loved, and fox. Let me just quickly arrange this, and I will pull your tarot afterwards. All right, let's pull your tarot card. So you do have the 6 of Swords at the bottom. I feel like what you're doing right is releasing control and allowing yourself to be guided out of a tough situation, or guided towards the things that you want to bring in. It's interesting, you have a new moon card as well. So did pile 2. I wonder if there's been a lot of connections in this reading so far. All right, let's see. Spirit, what is pile 3 doing right? What is pile 3 doing right? We have the 4 of Cups and the Queen of Swords. What is pile 3 doing right? Oh, the 6 of Cups. This 6 of Cups is so cute. Like, look at, I think these are lambs. They're just cuddled up together. So one of the first things that I'm getting after seeing this, we have the 4 of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the 6 of Cups, is that what you're doing right is focusing on your health, on your mental health, on your emotional health. Specifically, your mental and emotional health is actually coming through here, because we do have a lot of swords and air energy, as well as a lot of like cup energy. But this could also be your physical health and pouring into that. So what you're doing right is focusing on that, making sure that's a priority. Even connecting to nature here, because we have Mother Earth on this card. So if you've been taking nature walks, or spending a lot more time like in the grass, or with around trees and around plants, maybe you've even brought more plants into your home or something like that. Those are all things that you're doing right. And with this rediscover your zeal and inspiration here, along with the 4 of Cups, what I feel like you're doing right is moving away from focusing on the things that didn't work out. Because typically in the 4 of Cups, you see a guy sitting there looking at 3 cups in front of him, and those 3 cups are not fulfilling, they haven't worked out, and somebody is offering him a 4th cup, and that 4th cup is what he's looking for, but he's not actually seeing it because he's so focused on the things that didn't work out. And because this is coming out into what you're doing right, actually for some of you, exploring what didn't work is something that you're doing right. Seeing what didn't work and why it didn't work is helping you to get clarity on what you do want to bring in and what steps you need to take to make adjustments. But for others of you, I feel like you're moving away from focusing on the lack or the things that aren't working, and instead shifting your focus to the things that are working, to the things that you do want to create. I feel like there's a shift in focus here, and that shift in focus is helping you. And even if you're still asking yourself, like, why didn't that work? And your focus is still like trying to figure out why it didn't work, that is a good thing. That is helping you. As long as you're not sitting in that energy and dwelling on it, I feel like that is like a healthy amount of introspection to help you figure out what didn't work. Because that is important, to know why it didn't work and what didn't work. Kind of wanted to see, yeah. I don't know why, but I wanted to see the number on this card for some reason. So the number 4 or 40 might be significant for some of you. I think you're working on your foundation right now, but it's like it's a foundation of your mental and emotional health. It's working on establishing a strong connection to your, or establishing a strong connection between your mental and emotional worlds, so they're not fighting each other but working hand in hand with each other. They're bringing you insight from both of their different perspectives. I feel like I'm talking about them like they're two different people, but there are two different energies within you, right? Like the mental energy and your emotional energy. And if they're working against each other, then it causes confusion, chaos, and conflict internally. But I feel like what you're doing right is blending those two together, or is learning to bridge the gap and like feeding into both of them so that they can start to work together and bring you insight from multiple different areas. So it's like you're seeing things from your mind's perspective and also from your emotions perspective, and you're able to bring the two of those together and strengthen yourself through that. I feel like that you're also gaining inspiration from both your mind and your emotions. It's like your mind is bringing you ideas and clarity in that way, but your emotions are pointing you in different directions. Like, let's try this, let's try this. Ooh, that felt good, and that didn't feel so good. So like, I feel like you're receiving input from multiple different areas, which is actually helping you feel more inspired, and it's bringing you the boost of energy you need. And through these multiple different areas of input, you're getting a lot more, or you're getting closer to what you actually want and desire. And with this Queen of Swords, I feel like what you're doing right is being discerning with what you allow into your like mental space. So what you focus your mind on, I feel like you're being very discerning with that. I think you're intentionally choosing to focus on the things that are going to uplift you, the things that are going to inspire you, and the things that are going to benefit your health and your well-being. It's interesting because all of a sudden outside, like, there's a car whose alarm is going off, and there's a motorcycle, and it's like all this chaos just happened as I was talking about that. So yeah, I feel like you're being discerning about where you're putting your energy and what you're allowing into your space, and that intentional like discernment is helping you to feel more inspired, is helping you to feel healthier and better and more uplifted. And that's what you're doing right. I also, again, with Libra here, you're balancing things out, and that's also a theme that's been coming up in the past 2 readings and yours as well, is like balancing things out. So I feel like this even is impacting us collectively too. And it's interesting that I've been talking a lot about collective energies in your reading specifically. So I wonder if some of you are really intuitive, or really in tune with the collective energy, or really in tune with the energies around you. And maybe you've become more discerning over what energies you allow into your space, and you've become like, with this Queen of Swords, you've established like what energies you're open to accepting into your space and which ones you aren't. Even with the Fox here, it's kind of giving me a similar energy to that. Like, you're becoming much more, or you are being much more discerning over the energies that you interact with. And I feel like no matter what you might be working through, any things, patterns that you and cycles that you might be releasing, I feel like you're allowing yourself to still have fun through it. Like, even in the seriousness of life, it's not to say that you're not being serious, but I feel like you're still allowing yourself to have some fun and some like enjoyment too, even if you're doing serious work. Like, I think of somebody who maybe is like doing a serious research project, but they're also taking breaks to go and have fun and enjoy themselves. Like, it's not just focusing in on one thing. I think you're doing a really good job of maintaining a balance in your focus instead of becoming one-sided. And with this Six of Cups here, I also think you're doing a really good job of nurturing your relationships and nurturing your inner child, nurturing the relationship with your inner child, and nurturing yourself. I think you're doing a good job of being discerning over the things that you allow in, so that you can continue to nurture yourself in a healthy way, in a way that fulfills you and makes you feel good. But I do feel like there's this energy of nostalgia. So maybe for some of you, you've been looking to the past, or you've been like, maybe like there's like a significant past relationship or past situation, I guess, even with the Four of Cups here, that you were exploring or just asking questions about. And I think that Spirit is saying that is right for you, because through that you're going to gain a lot of insight. Even if the past is over, in your case, I think exploring it from this observational lens is necessary, and I feel like that's not a bad thing. So if you are doing that, it's okay. Like, Spirit is saying you don't need to be harsh on yourself for looking to the past, or for feeling called to look into this past situation or relationship or whatever it is, because it's actually very beneficial for you. So as long as you're not like dwelling on it, which for you, I feel like you are maintaining a pretty healthy balance in general. As long as you're not dwelling on it, this is actually very beneficial for you, and it will help you as you move forward. I'm also hearing that you're becoming discerning on the path to your goals. So it's almost like, here's your goal, right? And Spirit is like showing you a million different paths to your goal. And maybe your spirit guides start guiding you down this one path, and you're like, you know what? This is really just not working for me. This path is just not aligned with me. I don't want to, or even if it's aligned, it's like, I don't actually enjoy this path. Physically here in this 3D, this isn't really working for me. So I want another path. Like, I feel like you're becoming much more expressive in that way, where it's like, if something isn't working for you, you're not afraid to try something else or to move on, even if it's like you're not changing your goal, you're just trying a different route to get there. And you're being much more expressive and discerning with Spirit and your spirit guides to be like, no, this path is not the one. I don't like this path, so let's try another path. Guide me down another path. Or being much more detailed on the path that you would rather take. And which is funny, because the first message that came through for you was you're releasing control, but you are paying attention to the details. So I feel like you're releasing control in the sense that you're not trying to be like super controlling on the details, but you're still being attentive to the details. I hope this is making sense, but I think these two energies can work together. I feel like that's something you're doing really well, is figuring out like how to make these two things work together. It's like, okay, I'm going to release control. I'm not going to try to be like micromanaging this, but I'm also not just going to be taken on a ride that I don't want to go down, you know? And that's totally okay. And I feel like you're doing that, and that's something that you're doing right. And your spirit guides and spirit are coming through to encourage you to do that, because again, because they're saying that this is your experience. This is meant to be your life experience. So if there's something, even if they're guiding you down that path, if there's something that's really just not clicking with you, you're allowed to make that known, and you're allowed to not have to keep going through with that. There's a very interesting message, but that is what's coming through here. Like with this new moon in Libra, and it says, "Know you are loved." I feel like you're starting to open up your heart space and really experience love in multiple different ways. I think you're becoming much more open to experiencing love while still remaining discerning about who you let in. Like, is a very interesting thing that you're balancing out here. Like, this is reminding me of the Temperance card, and that's interesting because that came out for pile 2, and that's why I feel like this reading has been so connected. Like, so far these 3 piles have been very connected. But yeah, I love this for you, pile 3. What you're doing right is focusing on your mental and emotional health, being more discerning about the energies that you let into your life, focusing on being inspired, allowing yourself to receive inspiration from multiple different areas, but still being discerning about what you actually go with, and not compromising your power as the creator of your life. Spirit, what last message would you like to give pile 3? What last message would you like to give pile 3? Whoa. That's a lot. Oops. Well, because this did come out, it decided to fall on the floor, we're going to take it. Sweet pea, the comfort of good company heals old hurts. I feel like also something that you might, that Spirit is encouraging you to open up to, is allowing yourself to heal in like the company with others, or in connection with others. So for some of you, you may have gone through a healing process already, and now I feel like you're ready to experience healing in connection with friends, with like a romantic partner, with family. Like, I feel like you're now open to healing with others instead of just being isolated. Your energy, so like for pile 2, there was much more or was it pile 1? I think it was one of those felt much more isolated, and that's what they were doing right. But for you, I think opening up to community is something you're doing right. I feel like for you, opening your heart up to community, opening your energy up, because you do have this discernment. So you are now in a place where you can open up. Because you have this discernment, you have your filters in place, you have your boundaries in place. And so you're ready to open up and heal through the connection, heal with connect. God, why can't I say this correctly? And heal in connection with others instead of just being isolated or doing things by yourself. I think you're ready to do things with others. Like, I'm also noticing a lot of your cards have multiples. So like even on this card, there's 2 fish. On this 6 of Cups, there's 2 goats, sheeps. On this inspiration card, there's 2, there's Isis and, wait, I don't know my Egyptian gods and goddesses, sorry. Anyways, there's 2 figures on this card. You can tell me what they are if you know. I would love to find out. But I feel like your bottom line is you're ready to open up and experience love and healing and inspiration through multiple different sources rather than just internally. I feel like you're ready to experience in community. Like, community is also being highlighted here. So can I get one more card, Spirit, before I close this reading? And it's funny because as I was shuffling this, I was like, there does seem to be one more thing that I haven't really touched on, but I didn't know what that was until this came out and it was talking about good company, and then it hit me like community. I feel like what you're doing right is engaging in your community or building a community around you of people who are supportive and who you connect with. And that could even be an online community. You could be connecting with the right online community that's helping to uplift you and inspire you. So we have Chrysanthemum. Be here always with willing hands and heart. And I feel like that's also another thing that you're doing, like, because of the discernment that you have, your heart is being able to open up on a much bigger level, or like you're able to open your energy up in a bigger level without compromising your boundaries and your values. So there's a message of that too, of like you're able to open up now, and what you're doing right is opening up your energy without compromising your values and your boundaries. So pile 3, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you, and thank you so much for being here. If you want to dive deeper, you can book personal tarot readings through my website. It's in the description box. If you like this reading, then like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'll catch you in another video or reading. Bye. Hello, pile 4. How are you doing? You've chosen this fluorite tower, and I'm going to keep your crystal right here. I have really enjoyed and loved connecting with you guys through the comment section. I'm curious, when you go through a difficult time, or maybe you're lacking some motivation, or you're struggling to like your energy might be low, or you're going through a period of like feeling not so great, what helps to uplift you? What helps to get you motivated again or change you out of that energy? You can leave that in the comment section below if you feel like it, and if you want to hear my answer, it's in the intro. So let's get into your reading, pile 4. First of all, I just want to say I already filmed this intro and I didn't realize that my mic was not on, so I'm refilming it. I feel like that is somehow significant because there's been a lot of things with your pile, like a lot of synchronicities with this deck in particular. So for those of you who do not feel called to this deck, and maybe you were just called to this pile 4, when I lay out these oracle cards is when I'll finish this message, so you can skip to that point. I'll try to add a timestamp if I can, but this, for those of you who have been called to this deck in particular, and maybe in the last few readings when I've used this deck, you've noticed that this Fool card kept coming out because I did mention it in the last few readings. Well, it happened again. This deck was not shuffling properly. It just wouldn't shuffle. I was trying to like shuffle it and it was just acting wild. And so I was like, okay, I'll do one last shuffle and it is what it is. Like, I'll leave it be. And when I did that final shuffle, I cut the deck and the Fool appeared. And so once I saw that, I was like, wow. And then it shuffled just fine and he ended up on the bottom here. And I feel like that's really significant, though your other cards were also shuffling kind of wildly, and I'll get into that, but I do feel like that is significant to those of you called to this deck. So I feel like maybe I didn't elaborate enough on this message when I was first giving it. Maybe I didn't touch on all the points, or I didn't get the full message out, and that's why it keeps coming up here. But for those of you who are called to this, I feel like your soul and your spirit is craving adventure and something new, new knowledge, new things to try. This doesn't have to be as big as a new chapter or a new era. For some of you, it might be that, but for others of you, it could be as simple as just new things in your day-to-day. Maybe a new routine or a new coffee shop or something different about your routine. I feel like your soul and your spirit is craving something new, something to shift the energy, something to excite you, something to give you an adventure. It could be like a weekend getaway in seeing a different spot in your area or something like that. It doesn't have to be super big. Take what applies for you, but your soul and your spirit is craving new adventure and new, just newness and a fresh energy. And I feel like this might be something that you're actively bringing in, because this reading is about what you're doing right. But also there was this restless energy that was coming through, like a feeling of maybe being anxious or giddy, or just like a lot of energy bubbling under the surface. And if you have been feeling restless, then I feel like that this message is confirmation for that. It's because you're craving more knowledge and more adventure. And some of you might even be questioning why you've been feeling this restless energy. And I feel like that's helping you to get the answers that you're looking for. Because it's like, if you never question, you won't receive the answer, you won't receive the clarity, you won't know. So I think questioning even spirit is what you're meant to be doing right now. Questioning why you're here, questioning why you've been craving this, why there's this restless energy. Like, just being open to questioning. I feel like that, if you're doing that, then that is exactly what you're meant to be doing. And don't worry, like I'm hearing this message come through from your guides. Don't worry about your guides feeling offended if you question them, or spirit feeling offended if you question spirit, or the universe feeling offended, because the universe, spirit guides, and all those like ascended beings, they don't operate like we humans do. They don't have an ego. They're not going to feel offended because you question them. In fact, questioning them is exactly what you need to be doing and what you're doing right, because it helps you bring clarity to your situation. It helps you get the clarity that you're searching for. So that is actually something you're doing right. And don't feel afraid or worried about that. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that will try to convince you that you should not question God, spirit, the universe, blah, 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 because, it's like fear mongering, and like somehow you're going to end up in a bad situation if you do. I just don't understand that, because these are beings of light and love. Why would they ever operate in that way? So I don't understand that. That is just fear mongering. Don't fall into that. You are more than allowed to question. That is like absolutely something you're allowed to do, and something that spirit is encouraging you to do. Because through the questioning, you'll receive the answers and clarity that you are looking for. Also, in your cards, we had not these ones, but these two decks, the Moonology deck and this Magical Spell Cards deck. Both of these came, I was only looking for one, but two came out for both of these, and they both happened to fall on the floor reversed. So I don't really know what that means or why that's significant, but maybe for some of you it'll make sense. So let's get into this. Let me see if there's anything else that wants to come through with this Fool card before I get into your other cards. Yeah, I just think that your spirit is really craving some new adventure, or to shake up your routine in some way, because your routine just seems like it's been dragging on you. It's weighing you down. It's like, like internally you kind of know it with this Queen of Cups here. You're just feeling bored. You need a shakeup of some sort. So let's get into your oracle cards. We have 41, convey your meaning. We have mouse, dream sweet, sleep deep, justice. I'll have to lay these out properly. Last quarter moon in Taurus, be proud of yourself. And new moon in Sagittarius, focus on the positive. Let me lay this out and I'll be right back. All right, for those of you who skipped that message, here we have your cards. We have dream sweet, sleep deep. Last quarter moon in Taurus, be proud of yourself. Convey your meaning, reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. Then we have mouse spirit. We then have new moon in Sagittarius, focus on the positive, and then justice. By power of 3 by 3, Mott, deliver justice to me. Let's pull your tarot cards and then get into everything. So Spirit, what is pile 4 doing right? What is pile 4 doing right? It's interesting, my ear is ringing right now. What is pile 4 doing right? We have the 9 of Cups, which is so fascinating because it came up for pile 3. And I was saying in pile 3 that there's been so many like connections between all 4 piles. Like all 4 piles have felt connected some way. And so I don't know if this is just like a collective thing that we're going through. I feel like getting... All right. What is pile 4 doing right? With that 2 of Cups, I'm feeling like some of you are working on healing wounds within like romantic relationships, because we also do have the Lovers here. Or you're working on healing wounds with your mother or your family, your ancestry, and that's something that you're doing right. My cat is being so loud. She wants to come inside. But I cannot let her inside because she will mess everything up. So pile 4, with all the things I'm seeing, first of all, I do want to mention that I've been feeling very like all over the place or a little bit scattered. So maybe your energy has felt like that, or maybe your life has felt like that. Like you have a direction that you want to go in, and somehow it's not as clear cut as that. It's not like the path isn't clearly unfolding in that way. That might not apply to all of you, but that was coming through for some of you, so I had to mention it. I feel like what you're doing right now is questioning what the things that are not aligning with you in your life, questioning the things that are bothering you in your life, and also hoping for better, wishing for better, focusing on the things that you want in your life, focusing on wishing for better, and acknowledging what you're tired of experiencing, acknowledging what is no longer working for you, acknowledging what is bothering you. I think the other thing that you're doing right is becoming more clear on how you're feeling and what you're thinking, and learning how to put into words what you're seeing, what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Because this convey your meaning card is giving me the feeling that you're becoming much better at truly expressing how you're feeling, what's going on in your heart, the wishes that you have, the desires you have. I think you're becoming far more clear on it. You're getting down to the details of it. You're not just letting it be abstract. I feel like you're really grounding it. You're becoming much more focused and detailed, or this is what you are doing, and that's what you're doing right. And with this Lovers at the bottom of the deck, for some of you, this is helping you to come into union. What you're doing right is like harmonizing and coming into like a romantic union. But for others of you, this is helping you to navigate your current relationship, whether that's the relationship with yourself, your external world, and like those types of things, or an external romantic relationship or a relationship like that. Like I feel like you're learning to navigate that by becoming more clear and more decisive and being more detailed, really learning how to express the details of what is going on, or the details of what you want to bring into your life. I feel like you're also working through a lot of past pains, specifically because in this Three of Swords, we have a father here. It's supposed to be like the actual folklore behind it, I believe, where he's like leaving his kids in the woods because he can't afford to feed them. So because that's the specific imagery that's used in this card, I feel like for some of you, maybe this is healing wounds that are related to like parent-child wounds, or wounds from like either you and your parent or you and your child, something along those lines. I feel like what you're doing right is reconciling. This is either reconciling actually with that person, or it's an internal thing that you're doing where you're forgiving your parent or your child or yourself even for decisions that were made. And I think there's like a lightening of the load that's happening here. I also do feel like you're being more positive and learning to give yourself grace. I feel like that's really helping you and not overworking yourself. I do think you might be focusing on your sleeping cycles and trying to get better sleep and like fixing things to help yourself get the best sleep that you can get. And I feel like that's also something that you're doing right. And generally there's this feeling of taking care of yourself. I think you're starting to learn how to truly care for yourself, because maybe you didn't have that knowledge growing up, or maybe you grew up in an environment that you couldn't really develop that. And now I feel like you're finally doing that. I feel like you're finally learning to care for yourself in the way that you truly need. And I think you're becoming clear on that. Like, what is it that I need? What do I actually wish for? What do I actually crave in my life? And how can I bring that in? How can I take care of my needs? How can I parent myself and give myself what I need? I feel like you're answering these questions, and these are all the things that you're doing right. Also, I feel like you're grounding your ideas and your desires. With the Magician here being in between Taurus and Sagittarius, Taurus is very grounded, and Sagittarius is about like having a clear sight and taking action on it. So, and also this mouse is earth element as well. So I feel like, and I'm also just noticing how much green there is in in all of your cards here. So I feel like you're connecting to your heart space, and that's something that you're doing really well. Connecting to your heart space, exploring your heart space, but also grounding your ideas, grounding your passion, grounding your energy, grounding your desires into something that's practical. And I don't mean practical in the sense of like, what is realistic for you? I mean practical in the sense of like, what is going to help you take the practical steps towards your desires, or what steps do you need to take towards that? I feel like you're doing a really good job right now of figuring out what steps you need to take in order to bring your wishes about, or in order to heal these wounds in your heart, or lighten the load in your heart and release the baggage that might be there. I feel like you're doing a really good job of being detailed and taking the steps, and also like asking what step to take next. For some of you, I feel like you may have been putting a lot of work and effort into something that other people weren't contributing to. Like, it's like you have a joint project, right? Like in school, if you had a joint project and you are working joint project or group project, and your group members aren't doing shit, they're not helping you, they're barely like holding together their end, so you end up having to take on a greater load, and much more responsibility ends up being placed on your shoulders, but you're not receiving the full credit for it. So it's like you still can't on the group project, you can't take out everybody else's name and just put yours, because technically you did all this work. So I hope that's not the case for you, but that seems to be coming through here, where you are right in seeking justice for that, if that's the case, or you are right in seeking justice for any injustices that you faced. So just to summarize, because I know there's a lot that came through for this pile, what you're doing right is hoping and wishing for better, but also taking action to bring that into your life, grounding your wishes into your reality, focusing on healing your heart space and being detailed with your messages and being detailed in general, getting clear on the details of what you want to bring into your life, and expressing yourself with clarity, clearly expressing yourself to anybody who may have wronged you or hurt you, and who may even be doing that right now. Also taking care of yourself, like pouring into yourself, caring for yourself, making sure you get the rest that you need and the care and attention you need, and getting clear on what that looks like and what that is. All of these are things that you're doing right. I'm also feeling like there's this becoming very clear on what you are no longer going to accept, like your non-negotiables, or what you're just, the type of treatment or experiences that you're just not going to accept anymore. I feel like you are becoming so much more clear on those things, and that is also something that you're doing right, because that's going to help to filter out people and situations from your life that are draining you. Now let's get into your last message from Spirit. Spirit, what last message would you like to give pile 4 before we close this reading? I'm also hungry. So my stomach is growling. We have Poppy. Remember who you wanted to be. Also, the other thing that you're doing right, I think, is looking onto your past goals or the past things that you wanted to bring into your life, and acknowledging that maybe it didn't happen at the time, but what can you do now to bring those in? I think you're doing a lot of self-reflection or reflection on your desires, and I feel like that's really good, because the example that's coming to me is like, maybe you had a desire to go into this field, right? But then circumstances didn't align for you to do that, and maybe you had family responsibilities, so then you weren't able to actually fulfill that desire. Well, now I feel like you're coming to this place where you can finally pour into yourself enough to fulfill those desires. And that might be why this message is coming through, and Spirit is saying, let's now that you've gone through all of this, you're closing out a cycle and your pattern here. Let's focus on what you wanted to create in the beginning, what you wanted for yourself in the beginning. Let's get back to the root of what you wanted for yourself. We then have Dahlia. You have what it takes. Spirit is really just encouraging you, like, you have the strength and the power to create what you want for yourself. You have the strength and the power to ground your desires into action, into your reality. You have that power. You are a powerful being. And they're encouraging you to continue doing this. Hyacinth, play, laugh, and find joy. So through this all, you can still enjoy and have fun and do what you need to, and I guess that makes sense with the fact that we saw the Fool and that whole message that came through. It's like, find joy by trying new things. Play and laugh and enjoy good company. Get yourself out of your routine once in a while. Break that routine up so you can have this laughter and joy and good times. So it doesn't feel like things are just cycling through and the same thing keeps happening over and over again. It breaks up the monotony, I feel like. That's a very interesting message, but that was what came through. Pile 4, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you, and thank you so much for being here. If you want to dive deeper, you can book personal tarot readings through my website. It's linked in the description box. And if you like this reading, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'll catch you in another video or reading. Bye!